1907, the United States economy is falling apart. Banks are failing across the country. The stock market is crashing. Depositors are rushing to withdraw their money before it's gone. Lines form outside banks. Not because people need cash, but because they don't trust the system anymore. And in finance, once trust disappears, collapse follows. It began with a failed speculation that shook confidence in New York's financial institutions. What looked small at first spread fast. One bank struggled, then another, then more. Fear moves faster than facts. Businesses couldn't get loans. Stocks were dumped at any price. Credit froze. And here's what made it dangerous. There was no Federal Reserve. No central authority to inject emergency money. No automatic rescue plan. When panic hit in 1907, America was on its own. The government hesitated. Markets spiraled. Confidence evaporated. The entire financial system was hanging by a thread. And in moments like this, when institutions freeze and leaders stall, power shifts. Because when everyone is afraid, whoever provides stability gains control. While the country was panicking, one man wasn't. J.P. Morgan was already one of the most powerful financiers in America. He didn't just run a bank. He controlled networks, railroads, steel companies, major financial institutions. If money needed to move at scale, it moved through him. But here's what made him different. He wasn't loud. He wasn't chasing headlines. He was the gatekeeper. Presidents consulted him. Bankers respected him. Industrial giants depended on him. So when panic spread in 1907 and institutions started collapsing, eyes turned in one direction. Not toward Washington, toward Morgan. And this is where the power shift happened. Because when the system failed, the man who controlled liquidity controlled the outcome. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for the government. He understood something most people don't. In a crisis, authority doesn't come from titles. It comes from leverage. And Morgan had leverage. What he did next wasn't charity. It was strategy. During the 1907 panic, banks were desperate. Depositors were lining up outside buildings, withdrawing money faster than the banks could handle. Businesses were collapsing, markets were freezing, and everyone had the same question. Where do we get money to survive? That's where J.P. Morgan came in. But he didn't run around trying to win favors. He didn't chase deals. He positioned himself as the only source that mattered. Think about that for a second. In a room full of desperate bankers, one man held the key. Every major institution, every company, every bank that needed liquidity, they all came to him. He didn't beg for influence, they sought it. This is gatekeeping at the highest level. Control the flow, and you control the outcome. Modern translation: if you're a creator, own your email list. If you're a business owner, own your supply chain. If you're an entrepreneur, own your traffic. Control the access point, and people will come to you because they have to. Morgan wasn't just rich. He was indispensable. Calm in the chaos, a pivot point that determined who survived and who failed. Imagine being in a room with all the nation's bankers panicking, and you are the only one who can save them. That's the power of controlling access. And while everyone else was reacting, he was executing. Cool, calculated, unshakable. Next chapter. Become the stabilizer where presence becomes influence. While panic was spreading through every corner of the country, J.P. Morgan did something most people would never imagine. He became the calm in the storm. He didn't shout. He didn't panic. He invited the top bankers to his library, locked the doors, and forced them to face the crisis together. Imagine it. A room full of powerful men, each terrified their banks might collapse. Every second outside, more panic, more withdrawals, more fear. Yet inside, Morgan is steady, calm, commanding. He understood a critical truth. In chaos, the person who provides stability becomes powerful. Think about it today, on social media, markets, or business crises. Who do people trust? Not the loudest, not the most visible. The one who stands firm when everyone else is shaking. That's authority, that's leverage, that's power. Morgan acted fast. He assessed the situation, figured out who needed what, and allocated resources. Banks that were on the brink of failure suddenly had liquidity. Businesses survived, and the panic slowly slowed. But here's the twist. He didn't do it for credit. He didn't need headlines. He didn't want fame. He did it because being the stabilizer gave him influence that no government announcement could match. Modern application. Entrepreneurs, be the calm in your niche when competitors panic. Creators, deliver solutions when your audience is frustrated or confused. Business owners. Provide stability when your market is volatile. When everyone else is running around, the person who is calm is the one people follow. And once you're followed, you gain leverage. Morgan didn't just survive the panic, he became the center of power. Next chapter. Consolidate competitors where Morgan turns chaos into scale. By now, the panic was starting to stabilize, but the opportunity wasn't over. J.P. Morgan didn't just save banks. He turned crisis into power. Instead of fighting his competitors, he brought them together. He merged failing companies. He absorbed struggling banks. He created alliances where others saw rivalry. Think about that. While the market was bleeding, other financiers were trying to win small battles. Morgan was thinking bigger. He wasn't chasing short-term wins. He was building scale and network so strong that even future crises would have to go through him. Modern translation: entrepreneurs. Sometimes your competitors are not the enemy. Partnerships or mergers can give you exponential growth. Creators collaborate instead of competing for every follower. Business owners. Consolidation during industry shifts can make you untouchable. By consolidating, Morgan made himself the indispensable hub of the entire financial system. Here's the secret. Power is really about being the loudest or the fastest. It's about creating a structure that no one else can ignore. Imagine the impact. Institutions that once competed against each other now relied on him. His network became unshakable. Influence that was once optional became mandatory. While others panicked, he quietly absorbed influence, strengthened his position, and expanded his reach, all without public applause. This is the key principle of leverage. When you consolidate control quietly, you don't just survive, you dominate. Next chapter. Private influence. Public noise, the final piece of Morgan's gatekeeping power system. By this point, J.P. Morgan had saved the system, consolidated power, and become the stabilizing center everyone relied on. But here's the final stroke of genius. He didn't need attention. No headlines or no public speeches. No flashy announcements. He understood something most people still don't. Visibility does not equal influence. While the media scrambled to cover the panic, Morgan quietly leveraged his networks. Every decision, every alliance, every infusion of capital was calculated to maximize his control, not his fame. Modern translation. Creators. Stop chasing likes. Build influence behind the scenes. Email lists, communities, systems. Entrepreneurs. Control processes, distribution, and supply chains. Quietly let results speak. Business owners. Influence decision makers directly instead of broadcasting to the masses. Attention gets you noticed. Control gets you power. Morgan's moves were invisible to the public eye, yet everything depended on him. Here's the lesson. Real leverage is silent. Real authority works behind closed doors. He didn't need approval. He didn't need recognition. He simply owned the levers of the system, and that's why his power still echoes today. So, when you think about building influence, remember, the loudest voice isn't always the strongest. The one who controls the outcomes quietly, consistently, and strategically holds true power. Most people chase attention. Morgan chased control. Attention makes you visible. Control makes you powerful. And that, right there, is the final piece of the gatekeeping power system.